I think a strong growth we've shown in Europe and Asia Pacific is driven on the one hand from an organic growth driven by innovation and new products we've launched in the last 1.5 years. But then in Europe, due to the acquisition of AudioNova in the retail side of the business, which gave us a significant inorganic growth lift.
But maybe it wasn't such smooth sailing in markets, say in Germany or in the Netherlands.
Yeah, there are certain markets where it is a little bit more difficult from the market environment right now. Germany, I would say, had a slow market growth in the last year after a strong growth in the years before, and that made it more difficult. The Netherlands is a particular challenging environment because the government has changed the reimbursement some 2 years ago. And on the back of that reimbursement change, the market really is going to a lower demand.
You have been CEO since April, and there are some big shoes to fill. How do you plan to make your mark within the company?
I think first we have, as you say, not just big shoes to fill, but also a well-run company with a great strategy. Yeah. And in that regard, I intend to continue our strategy of the vertically integrated business model and to continue to put money into innovation as well as in reaching more customers around the world. As always, the markets are not standing still. The competition is not standing still. So we need to continue to evolve our strategy. A big part of that will be digitalization and the ability to reach customers directly, to also help in the fitting process of the audiologist with connectivity to cell phones. So digitalization is a key important initiative which we need to progress.
Some of your colleagues have described you as a global citizen. When we look at your profile, you are German, but you have extensive experience in the United States. How is this international experience going to play in under your leadership?
I think in general, it's good to have people with different experiences in different geographies and cultures on the management team. So I'm one part of the management team, but I am one who had that time. And that will hopefully help us with regard to understanding some of the market specifics better. Take the US. I have operated more than 10 years in the US in commercial and in president roles and do have a fair understanding of the healthcare environment there, the regulations, but also the way you run a sales force. So I think on that side I can help.
Now, it's said that in Germany you're considered quite American, and in America you're considered quite German. How would you describe yourself in Switzerland?
That's a good question. Nobody has coined that phrase yet. I think it probably falls a little bit more into having to balance my German roots with the specifics about the Swiss culture. But my team is helping me on that already.
I think it's important to mention Andy Rees. Obviously, it's hard to talk about the company without mentioning him, who sort of built Sonova up from the ground. How much of his legacy is still in the company today?
So Andy Rees, clearly a very critical person on the build-up of Sonova over so many years in the brand Phonak before. It's great to see that his spirit is still in the company, and we intend to keep it that way. His focus on people, his focus on driving innovation through technology, but also his focus on driving, reaching more customers is all still present in our strategy, and I think will not change.
Now, he actually had a well-known slogan, Ohne Leute geht nichts, or basically meaning nothing happens without the people. You've been in several managerial positions. Is this slogan still going to ring true under your leadership?
I think it is the exact right slogan. I think if you think about how you build successful companies for the long run, it always starts with the best talent and people which are highly engaged. So this will continue to be a priority for us. I think today you're adding additional elements of diversity and inclusion into that equation and that discussion. But at the end, we want to have the strongest people in the industry, and we want to have them feeling Sonova is the best place to be in our industry.
Is there still a stigma towards people wearing hearing aids? Some people actually maybe choose to have bad hearing over wearing hearing aids.
There is an element of stigma in the industry. I think gradually it becomes smaller. You can measure that by seeing more customers starting earlier and the average age of people taking a first hearing aid becoming younger. I think the digitization and the connectivity to the cell phone will play its role, because now you can offer incremental applications which really make the device of a hearing aid even more appealing to the consumer.
Typically, the age bracket of people using hearing aids is quite old, maybe from 70 to 80. But nowadays, we are seeing younger people also using hearing aids. How are you going to tap into this?
I think what you see is that with the younger generations coming to the hearing aids, them coming through different means to finding out about hearing aids and engaging in the conversation. So one of the areas where we see a particularly young part of the population coming is in the access through internet from an information gathering, but even from a hearing test perspective, doing an online hearing test. Here the average age is pretty young. From there, they then choose if they go to an independent audiologist or go to a large retailer, but particularly the internet side of connecting for the first time really is important for the young generation.
So maybe a lot of us actually have some sort of hearing problem that we've incurred from maybe listening to music too loudly that we might not even know about.
Yeah, if you look at the need for hearing aids, it's amazing how early you have a part of the population already being somewhat hearing impaired, but not to a degree that you really would recognize that you're losing specific words or can't follow anymore. A lot of education in the marketplace will help with that, but people get more and more aware about hearing needs.